Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the program. I have just done a whole bunch of media interviews, and I will be continuing to do these with various media in Vancouver in advance of our appearance on April the 4th at Cheers, the Mojo Radio Lister Party in Vancouver. Actually, it's in North Delta, but nobody outside of Vancouver knows what North Delta is. So we're going to call it Vancouver for the purposes of all the other radio stations that are tuned in to our program, all the listeners who listen to them. But certainly I have been talking with the Vancouver media, and because Vancouver is a relatively new radio market for us, I find myself explaining a lot of what we do from the beginning, from scratch. I find myself explaining the tenets of Leykis 101 and who I am and how we came to do this radio program and what have you. And I want to speak seriously with you, and I know we kid around a lot on this show about a variety of things, but I want to speak seriously with you about an issue that keeps coming up. And here it is. Almost every reporter I talk to asks me a question. There are variations on this, but I'm gonna combine them all into one version of the question that they all ask. Here it is. Don't you get bored talking about all that trivial stuff you talk about on your show? Come on, you're a smart guy. You read, you watch the news. Years ago, you did a political radio talk show. Come on, don't you get bored? All that trivial stuff you do now. And by the way, it's not just these reporters, although the reporters have been almost unanimous in asking some form of this question. It's also certain people I meet in public, most of whom are women. And I want to give you the response to this question that I'm giving everybody else. I wanted to do this on the air because I'm shocked at how often this question comes up. While we do have fun on this show, and while we do say things on the show for not dramatic effect, but in terms of irony, we do certain ironic things on the air. We say things in a funny or entertaining way to keep you entertained because it's a show. Remember, it's called the Tom Leykis Show. Okay. We talk about a lot of issues that are serious. And I'll give you some of them, and of course, you'll remember a lot of these. First of all, to people in the target demographic, which is young men, how to get laid is a very important subject. How to get laid cheaply is an even more important subject. How to get laid without having to listen to women go blah, 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 blah may be trivial to a 45-year-old woman with a hyphen. But it is not trivial to men in the age group we're talking to. It's not. It's one of the most important issues they face. On top of that, though, we talk about issues like guys who pay child support for kids that are not theirs, and they've got DNA evidence to prove it. We talk about why women get away with killing men and are not put to the death penalty as often. We talk about vagina-mony, which is really, of course, alimony, or like they like to call it now, spousal support, so you won't feel like you're paying alimony, but really you are. Talk about that a lot. We talk about sexual harassment suits in the office and why you can't say anything at work anymore. We talk about lots of serious issues. And maybe we do it in an entertaining way, but the bottom line is the same. These are serious topics. And I refuse to be marginalized this way. I refuse to be belittled or trivialized. The fact is, and I've said this on the air before, but I want to tie it into what I'm saying now. increasingly, women with butch haircuts and hyphenated last names are taking management positions in television stations, TV networks, TV syndicators, ad agencies, media buyers, and radio. Same deal. Program directors, executive producers, operations managers, what have you. Same thing in newspapers. There's that one reporter I won't even name because I don't want to get him fired who was doing a feature piece on this show. It took him months to get it into the newspaper because all the hyphens above him all objected to him doing a story about us, even though our show had high ratings in the city where he was, even though we had proven popularity over the years. He was given hell by the people above him because they just didn't like me. They didn't like my opinion. Was I one of the most popular radio personalities in that market? You bet I was. They just didn't like it very much. The news media has been taken over by the hyphen crowd, the Mrs. of the world. The Mrs. and the hyphens and the bulldykes and that whole crew that has taken over a number of management positions in the media. And the results are what you get on television every single day. Be it Maury Povich, be it Jenny Jones, be it Oprah Winfrey, be it Montel Williams, be it Ricky Lake, be it any of those shows that are on, including the more pussified newer shows like Rob Nelson and The Other Half. All of these shows bring you a steady stream, a steady diet of men are pigs, men are dogs, men are scum, men don't know how to love, men don't know how to nurture, men don't know how to raise children, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I mean, it's one after another. And then sandwiched in between the actual program content are advertisements aimed at women, telling how stupid men are, how dumb men are, how men can't do housework, men don't know how to change a baby, on and on and on and on, day in, day out. Newspapers have been vaginified. And you look at any newspaper now, and everybody at the paper knows women under 40 don't even read the goddamn paper for politics or news or anything of importance or business. So newspapers increasingly have become the living section, the life section, the life and leisure section, the living and life section, blah, 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 which is nothing but all that trivia. Heloise and Dear Abby and recipes and whatever, increasingly taking over the newspaper with less and less news in there. Even the Wall Street Journal, goddammit, there's a newspaper. They added pretty colors and they added articles about wine and food and all these things that have nothing to do with whether my stocks are going up. The media have been taken over by ovaries. That's what has happened. And the result of all of this is that the editors and the reporters and a number of the people in the business, plus the pussy men who work in the business, all being politically correct, all worried about, ooh, you know, you've got controversy on your show. Aren't you worried about doing the kind of show you do? I got this one today. I was asked by a TV anchor today, have you ever had any trouble at these listener parties you do? Now, when he said trouble, I thought he meant, did anybody ever get a bottle broken over their head? Or anybody ever get stabbed? Or did anybody ever, you know, get drunk and start heaving or whatever? The cops ever come and arrest everybody? Did the vice squad ever arrive? I'm thinking all these different things it could be. Oh, no. He didn't mean any of that. Here's what he said. He said, no. I mean, have you ever had protesters? You want to know what I told him? I said, we don't have enough protesters. And I looked into the camera and I said the following. I said, if you're planning on protesting my next appearance in Vancouver on April 4th, please send this TV station a press release immediately and let them know you're coming so they can send cameras. I mean, the media have been taken over by a bunch of chicks with combat boots on and pussified males like that Rob Nelson piece of crap who I find on at 2 and 3 in the morning after the Juice Man in every city I go to. And I'm proud to say I am not part of that soup on TV right now. I'm not. And if I ever am on TV, it's going to be as me, the way I am, saying the stuff I care about. And I will not answer to a hyphen. I'll tell you right now. But what I'm really upset about is that there's a move afoot to try to marginalize what we do, to say that the stuff we talk about in this show is trivial, to say that we don't talk about important issues on this show. And no matter how much fun we have talking about the issues we really care about, the stuff we talk about is important to the people who listen. It's important. Now I'm going to go a step further. I'll tell you how important this stuff is to the people who listen. I also happen to believe, just to throw this in, I also happen to believe that the kind of people who listen to our show don't care about politics per se, are not following war coverage on CNN and Fox News Channel all the time. And when the war starts, and it's about to, our audience is going to come to us to escape. In fact, coming up, within the next 10 minutes, I'm going to have something for you. I'm going to have some statistics that are going to blow you away on what kind of topics are important to people and not important to people. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm just like flipping out hearing all of these questions about how controversial we are and like the stuff we talk about doesn't matter. Don't you get tired of talking about, all your little topics? All those little topics you do, whatever those are. Don't you get tired of it? No, I don't get tired of it because I'm a man. I've got a penis. And I care about this stuff deeply because I got to tell you something. This is how I relate to humanity. This is how I relate to the rest of society. My identity is as a man. And the stuff men care about is important, even if the hyphens and the vaginas and the Mrs. of the world have pushed it all off the front page. It's important. Any man who's paying child support for some bastard child he did not create knows that what I'm talking about is important over here. Now, if you have an opinion about this, I want to know. The Tom Leykis Show. All right, we're going to get to these calls, and I said to you that I'm speaking seriously to you, and I am. And I don't get this serious that often, but I do talk about serious topics. I just try to do it in an entertaining way. Our number 1-800-5800-TOM. I just refuse to be trivialized or marginalized by a bunch of vaginas and hyphens and Mrs. and that whole crowd. I will not let it happen. Will not. These topics are important. They are not trivial. And the rest of the media, who don't have the same punch that we do, who don't have the same readership or listenership that we do, they try to marginalize us. They try to make us seem like, a bunch of extremists or something. And we're not. Now, this comes from today's RadioandRecords.com. Radio and Records is the industry Bible for the radio business, and it has been for a long time. And in today's RadioandRecords.com, and you can go to RadioandRecords.com and see this for yourself. You don't have to hear me read it to you. But Arbitron, and I'm just going to say this briefly, Arbitron is a rating service. That's all I'm going to say for radio, okay? And I guess they've been doing some experimenting on a new, more specific way of taking ratings in Philadelphia. And so I'm going to paraphrase this for you and leave out the stuff you won't understand, but leave in the stuff you will understand. The latest data from Arbitron's trial in Philadelphia could prove to be very useful as American forces ready for an attack on Iraq. Listen to what they did here. People who didn't care to listen to President Bush's press conference on March 6th turned to music on the radio. Among teens 12 to 17, listening soared 89% during the 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time hour. So you understand? Bush came on TV, All TV stations preempted it. Teenagers increased their listenership to the radio by 89% during that hour. Okay? That's one statistic. African Americans over the age of 6, listening increased 66% during that hour. Urban formats, which we all know is just a euphemism for black formats, saw a whopping 189% ratings gain during the hour that Bush was on TV giving a press conference. And listen to this. It's not just very young people who did this. Persons 18 to 34. 10% listenership up to music radio during that hour. Adults 25 to 54, the money demo on radio, up 18% to music formats. And by the way, I'm sure that would include FM talk, since we're not broadcasting any speeches by President Bush or anything like that. We're not doing that. Speeches, press conferences, news bulletins, we just don't do that stuff. Most of us, okay? Some stations do, but for the most part, we're on stations that don't. 25 to 54 adults, money demo on radio, an 18% increase to music radio during the hour-long press conference by President Bush that appeared on television. And get this, this is fascinating, because what they call news talk radio, the AM stations that talk about serious topics all the time, news talk radio talks about the war all the time. They talk about Iraq all the time. Oh, yes, these are the very, very important topics right now. Very important. When will the attack take place? When will we start bombing Iraq? Will Saddam Hussein and his sons leave Iraq? And they spend all day chewing the fat about this stuff. Well, when Bush's press conference came on, 67% of news and talk radio listeners tuned away from news and talk radio stations who were probably carrying the press conference. They tuned out. And ratings for TV stations, you think they went to TV to watch Bush on TV? Nope. Ratings for that hour, adults 18 to 49, the money demo on television, decreased 32% during that time. In short, we talk about the issues people care about, not them.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the program. We appreciate it. All right. Talking about how there are people in the media trying to marginalize this show and trivialize the topics we talk about. And honestly speaking, it's starting to piss me off. It really is. This is J.D. on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Hi, J.D.
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that regardless of what's on TV, I'm listening to more and more Tom.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I just started listening a couple months ago, man. I love it. Don't change a thing, baby.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, people listen and they find it entertaining, but a lot of these reporters are trying to say, oh, you know, you and your little show and your little topics, don't you get bored with that? Like, we don't talk about anything important on this show. Do you really believe that?
You talk about the things that are important. The thing is, they act like you're the weirdo.
Right. I should be sitting here talking about Iraq all day long or something. You know, come on.
Things that don't involve us at all, really.
Look, there's going to be a war. We're going to win it. It's going to end really soon, okay? Am I going to waste my time talking to military generals on the air?
Yeah.
No.
If they send me to the war, then I'll listen to that.
Bang, bang, boom. That's exactly right, J.D. I couldn't have said it better myself. If there was going to be a draft and you might get drafted, then you might want to talk about it, and then we would.
Then I'd be worried about it.
But if you're going to sit home here and live your normal life while a bunch of brave individuals go off and do it on our behalf, then why do you want to sit here and talk about it all day? There's CNN, Fox News Channel, all the major networks. My God, they were preempting regularly scheduled entertainment shows on TV last night. We're going to be a place where you could escape from that stuff.
That's right. That's great, Tom. You're doing a great job.
All right, J.D., thank you.
Yeah, with an orgasm.
Here it comes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's her telephone number. This is Quincy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Quincy.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, how you doing, Tom?
Do you care, Quincy?
I most definitely care, my friend.
I'm doing great.
Nice. Well, I wanted to say, man, your show plays a very relevant and far from trivial role in my life every day, man. You talk about everything from women who try to get you pregnant if you have money to how you have to have money to get laid to, women who screw up. Like, some of the horrific calls that I hear just open my mind to the things that can possibly happen. And if it wasn't for your show, man, I'd be in the dark. Excuse my French, bro.
Yeah, well, I was just amazed hearing these reporters talking to me about this and making it sound like the stuff we talk about isn't important. And yet we probably have more listeners than they have viewers or readers. There must be a reason. Maybe what we're talking about is more important than what they're writing about.
Far more important. Besides, a lot of that stuff is just right-wing propaganda anyways.
I don't even know what they're writing about. Who cares?
Hey, Tom, thank you very much for your time. Can you take me out screaming wet orgasm, THX, thank you, Jesus style?
Here you go, Quincy.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Here is Ken on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Ken.
Tom, I think the reason the media downplays your show is because your show caters to men, not women.
That's exactly right. I'm glad you said that.
And, I mean, let me tell you, just my personal experience listening to your show, you have covered issues that have changed my life, and I'm not kidding you. I mean, credit issues you've discussed one time, helped me out on how to make some adjustments on my credit card issues, how to get your life back together after a breakup, dating, who to go for, who not to go for, and the reasons why. Made me a much more wary consumer, both in the commercial purchasing world and in the personal life world. And I think that, like I said, the fact that you aim your show at men, your sense of humor is even more a guy's guy kind of sense of humor. The media doesn't like that, man. They're all about pleasing the women because they think the women are the primary consumers, and they don't realize that we're the ones out earning the money.
That's right.
And personally, you've changed my life, and that makes you the most important show on the radio today for a guy like me. I'm sure that there's millions of guys out there just like me that would agree.
I wish you could hear the questions I was being asked. I know the folks in Vancouver will see the results of these interviews over the next 2 weeks, but I'm telling you, I'm amazed at people saying, "Oh, you're so controversial."
No, Tom, hey, you are the father I never had. And I wish that I had been listening to this show. I wish there was a show like yours out there 10, 20 years ago, and my life probably would have totally turned out differently today. And I personally want to salute you and thank you. And I'll never just say that to the media.
Ken, thank you very much for that. The Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Sharon is in Vancouver. Sharon, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
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 Hi.
I was calling to say that as a woman, I love your show. I think it's fantastic. I listen to it every day when I'm making dinner for my man on his way home from work.
I like that.
Good food. And then I also wanted to say that you talk about what's most important because it deals with the person that you look at in the mirror every morning. It deals with yourself and what's closest to you, your family, your relationships, your life. And I'm one of those people that turns off all the political crap and turns your show on because you deal with everything that's important, not just the things that people want to forget. And
I really think that because our show is entertaining, because it's funny frequently, a lot of people are like, oh, you and your little show. And then because it's all topics that men care about, although we have women listening, it's targeted at men.
And that's what women care about, is what men care about, because we got to keep them happy.
You know, does anybody ever ask, I don't know, Maury Povich, if he ever gets tired of talking to baby daddies all day long? Does anybody ever get, all that stuff that women care about and watch on TV all day long? Why doesn't somebody ask Oprah Winfrey if she's tired of seeing Dr. Phil's ugly mug on her goddamn show all the time?
Absolutely.
Nobody would dare ask a question like that.
No, not at all.
No, but me with my little show and our little topics. Come on.
Which, to me, is more important than anything else. Because those all relate with the stupid people the talk show crowd. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to intelligent people who just want to live their life and be happy.
That's right.
That's it.
I think you're right about all of that, Sharon. Thank you for the call. It's Ken on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Ken.
Well, hey, Tom, I've been listening to you since you were with KKKFI, but I must say you're turning into the Jerry Springer of talk radio, man.
Well, Jerry certainly had a lot of success. He's become very, very rich.
Well, that's true, and you're correct about that, but I'm talking about the topics. I mean, they get mundane after a while. You got to open it up.
You're not in the target, sir.
I may not be, but neither
Well,
are
the show is not aimed at you.
Neither are you.
Doesn't matter. I don't have to be. I'm not the listener. I am the proprietor.
Well, I'd just like to hear you talk about, you know, you used to teach me a lot when you talk about world issue and politics.
I understand that. And
I would like
one day when I'm too old to do this and so they decide I can't get ratings doing it anymore, maybe I'll go back to doing that if I feel like it. But
an hour of that.
No, the audience is not old like that. They are young.
I think you pull some more audience by going back to some of the.
Why are we number one?
Well, that's true.
Well,
you got some of these kids that don't know.
And the shows that are on opposite us that talk about the serious issues, we kick their ass.
Well, and maybe you should call it entertainment radio then.
No, you know what? We're talking.
Yeah, but it's entertainment.
So what? What's wrong with talk radio being entertaining? Should it all be boring? Should it all be like some of these shows that are on in L.A., these boring conservatives, one after another, about quoting the same other boring conservatives all day long? I don't want to do a show like that.
I agree, but you seem to have a point of view that pulls people in, and you're doing it with a different show now, which is good.
Which has more listeners than it's ever had.
Well, I can't take that away from you.
And that's why we do the show we do, because it appeals to the biggest possible audience. That's my job.
All right, Tommy.
Thank you, Ken.
Take me out old school.
Here you go. 1-800-5800-TOM. Easy our telephone number. Jaime on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How's it going, Tom?
All right, Jaime.
How you doing today?
Do you care?
Oh, but I do.
I'm doing great.
Outstanding. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, man, that regardless of what anyone else says about this stuff, dude, I really appreciate what you talked about because it kind of breaks up all that monotony that I usually hear on all the other talk stations, man.
Yeah, and let's not forget the music stations that are monotonous.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you got to think that they always play them damn top 40 things all the time, and, you know, got to deal with that, but what have you. I listen to this most of the time just because it does bring up a lot of the subjects that most young guys, for that matter, are usually thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I listen to it anyways, and it's got some helpful tips here and there.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Tim is in Vancouver, where I had all these interviews. Tim, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Tim.
How are you?
Do you care?
Of course I do.
I'm doing great.
I just wanted to tell you that in yesterday's paper, we have two major papers up here, the Vancouver Sun and the Province, and in the Province newspaper, there's an entertainment section reporter who does these articles on local stuff, and he's writing about radio stations. The FM stations doing their contest to get ratings, and he writes about Mojo AM 730 is #1 because of Tom Leykis.
I love that. I love that. That probably annoys all the women in Vancouver. It probably annoys all the other stations. It probably annoys all the people who think we should be talking about the more important issues of the day, as opposed to those trivial, little mindless issues they talk about over there. They better think twice. You look at the ratings we have. You know what? Who decides what's important? We all do.
The listeners.
That's right. And the listeners vote with their ears. Bottom line.
Exactly.
I don't know what's on the other stations in Vancouver. I haven't been to town yet. But once I find out, I'm going to kick their ass.
You already are.
Yeah. I mean, verbally. I'm going to find out who they are, just kick their ass.
All right.
Because I came in, I'm a goddamn foreigner, and I drove over these people with a Mack truck. It took me, 6 months? Hello? Here we come. Here we come. That's it. I'm going to kick their ass. As soon as I get to Vancouver, I'm going to tune around the dial, find out who the competition is, and then kick their ass on the air.
Well, I can tell you right now, there isn't any other competition. And one other thing I just thought of, listening to a morning radio show, music station on FM, I heard a guy use one of your key phrases.
Really? Which one?
Somebody called in and they asked how they were doing, and he says, "Do you care?"
Look at
and
that.
I've never heard this guy ever say that before you came on the air up here.
Oh, wow. Look at that. So they're stealing my material now, too. Look at that. We're writing the material for every show in Vancouver. It's unbelievable.
You're the man, Tom.
All right, Tim. Well, thank you very much for the call.
Tom Leykis.
Yes, the Tom Leykis Show. With our little topics, our little show here, 1-800-5800-TOM. He's our telephone number. Barry on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show.
Yeah, Tom, I'm just calling to tell you I think you should include some older age brackets because we're the guys who are looking to upgrade, and we still got stuff to learn, too.
Yeah, I understand, but the problem you have is you can only have a certain demographic. You can only appeal to a certain group. And if I put the old guys on, then the young guys stop listening. That's how it works.
No, we got stories to tell the young guys that blow them away. They're really interesting. Like the other day. I mean, there were some great stories I could have told, but I never would have gotten through.
Probably wouldn't have.
You know, you're checking the same box on those insurance forms. I'm checking.
I'm not the listener.
I understand that, but if someone told
Don't worry about me. Worry about you. I'm talking to the listeners.
Well, I know, but if someone told you you're too old to be doing whatever it is you're doing...
You know what? There are some things I am too old to be doing. For example, I won't be playing Major League Baseball anytime soon, okay?
Well, I understand that.
You know the deal. You understand. Aaron on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Aaron.
How's it hanging?
Hanging right, Aaron.
Right on.
Yeah.
Hey, I know why the media doesn't like you, or at least I think I do.
Why is that?
Because you speak the truth, and people don't like the truth.
Right. Exactly.
And most of all, you teach us young men how to get more tail for less dollars.
Which is what every young man wants.
Oh, yeah. Could you do me a favor?
Yes.
Take me out with a big bong rip.
Here you go, Aaron.
Thanks, Tom.
Joshua, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's going on, Tom?
Not much, Josh.
Man, I just want to say, I'm 22 years old, young guy. I've been listening to your show for a few months now. I couldn't agree more with what the issues you talk about. It's positive stuff. Like this last guy said, the media doesn't like the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, or they want to manipulate the truth.
Right, and you know what? You know what's funny is that...
They want to have the newspaper be full of all those inspiring single mother stories and all those inspiring stories about people who, paid child support on kids that weren't theirs and stuff like that. That's what they want to put in.
I know, man. I know, and, it's funny because you got to remember that, the media, man, they should be thanking you because they wouldn't have jobs if they didn't have anything to write about.
Yeah, then they all write about me and how wrong I am, but guess what? They still write about me. It's amazing.
I know. They should be saying thank you, man, because you just probably got them an extra job or some extra money.
I am more grist for the mill. What can I say, Joshua? Thank you for the call. Our email address is my name. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.